I'm a huge fan of taking ownership. I think there's so much value in seeking out how I could be better, or what I could have done wrong, or what I could do differently next time without shaming myself. I feel like that was also a survival response of mine for so long, to just ensure that no matter what's going wrong in the environment, that I interpret it as perhaps it's something that I did, and that perhaps there are things that I can change in order to do better next time. And a lot of that comes from, obviously, when you're carrying big, heavy feelings of other people because you were raised or conditioned that way. That also followed me into all of my corporate life, my corporate experience, and it has followed me into every sort of relationship that I've had, where when there's big feelings, perhaps it's me. Perhaps whenever something seems off in the environment, it's me. And I think that has served me well to a certain degree, because I've been able to continuously improve and learn and grow. But a few weeks ago, I posted a video that said the healing era is over. And what I meant by that is people are done being so obsessed about healing all the time. And the collective is moving into a space of, I want to live, and I want to be present, and I want to enjoy my life, and I don't want to be so hyper focused on correcting myself all the time that I'm missing out on actually living my life. Going out and having experiences among other people, and then leaving those experiences and thinking about all the things that you said wrong and did wrong, you could do better. It's just hypervigilance, and it's a trauma response to feeling like you're not okay in the environment. Also, a few weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago, I posted an interview with Jason C. And Jason C. is a guy that I work with. And something that I've learned from him is that he just shows up as himself. And it doesn't matter what you think about it, or what I think about it, or what anybody else thinks about it. He is a good-hearted person who shows up as himself no matter what. And you can take it or leave it. And I remember when I first met Jason and got to know him, there was something about that rubbed me wrong, because I had been conditioned to, you need to change who you are in order to be in the different environments that you're in, and in order to gain the approval and the acceptance and the safety of all that's happening around you. But Jason doesn't live his life that way. And I've always been really intrigued by him once I figured out that the reason why that was kind of rubbing me, not necessarily rubbing me wrong, but it was creating a little internal friction for me sometimes when I was around him. And it's because it wasn't a him problem, it was a me problem, because I had been so conditioned to respond to my environments a certain way, and he just didn't live his life that way. He doesn't live his life that way. And I've watched him grow and evolve and never be apologetic for who he is. And I think the reason why there was that internal friction is because at the end of the day, I just wanted that for myself as well. It's the freedom that I so desperately was seeking. It also makes me think about just the environments that I've been in. I also posted a video about hanging out with a group of girls, and one of the girls just had an odd energy about her. There was some sort of power thing that was happening. I'm in a parking lot, and I thought I just saw somebody drive by, but I don't know where they went. Oh, there he is. But there was some sort of internal thing that I was sensing off of her. And normally in the past, I would doubt myself and say, oh, this is a me problem, and this is me being insecure, and this is me. But I know it wasn't me. What it did bring forth was, she knows what she's doing. There's something intentional that she's pushing with her energy, because she works in that realm, so she knows how the energy works. And it's also creating some resistance in me, because there was something in me that wanted to get the approval of something in her, which is just an old trauma response. And it was through recognizing that I had to sort through her being the problem and me having my attention drawn to an area that I don't like about myself and that I don't want to operate in. And so when I sort through those things, I realize, yes, her energy is not something I want to be around, but also here's some areas where I can grow. And I'm telling you all of that to say because I feel really heavy right now about some things, and I can't quite put words to them, but I felt like my daughter's at a photo shoot right now. That's why I'm sitting in a parking lot. And it was really stressful trying to get here because we're on a campus and we could not for the life of us find where we needed to go. And when she got out of the car, I just felt this like overwhelming, like I just want to start crying. And it's not because we couldn't find where we needed to go. It's because I have other things that are built up inside of me over the last week or so that I'm trying to find my footing in. And I'll tell you what I do know. I know that I am not a problem to solve. I know that for sure. But I also feel some resistance and some conflict internally. And it's because I've been in environments. You guys know how important environment is. The safety of people, the safety of being in environments where your nervous system will know that it's safe so that it can kind of reset itself in knowing that I'm safe here and I belong here. And the only way the nervous system can get to that is by putting it in environments. It can't come through your mind. It can't come through telling yourself over and over again or affirmations. It has to come through physically being or experiencing the same types of environments and situations, and your nervous system will realize, hey, I can let go here. This is not a place that I'm surviving anymore. There's nobody here to harm me. We can let go. And that's how you start to regulate in your nervous system. So I have been just meeting a lot of people lately, physically out and about meeting people. And I've also been developing some new friendships lately that they are, I mean, the jackpot. I have hit the jackpot. And it's only been a few months in most of these friendships, but I just know that it feels different. I'm different. They are different women from different backgrounds, different places, and all of them are not ego-driven. There's just something so clean about being in their presence and around their energy, and they're not threatened by me, and I'm not threatened by them. And it's just not this weird thing between women. It's something that I've always known would exist because I know I'm that way, but I just truly haven't fully experienced that with more than like one person in my life, and a woman in my life. And so that is something that's just so new to me. And I love it, and I feel really fulfilled, and I feel deserving of it. But it's also causing me to set the bar higher, if that makes sense. Like, does that make sense? Like, because I now know what's possible, and I'm experiencing. It's not just knowing what's possible, it's experiencing what's possible. So now if I get around any other environments, personally or professionally, and I feel like the energy's stagnant, or there's something strange in the exchange between me and another person, I know that it's not a me problem to go fix, but I also don't want to go back in those environments. So, for instance, I had 2 conversations over the last 24 hours. One was with somebody who I've just met. And we were talking about life and business and navigating entrepreneurship. And I just happened to talk about Blushing Phoenix and how I've had Blushing Phoenix since 2019. But I don't ever really quite know what to do next with it. And I just started talking through all these cluttered thoughts and stuff. And he asked some questions, and I responded to those questions. And I knew as I was talking that he just could not, there's no way he can grasp what I'm talking about, because I am so scattered and I can't anchor down my ideas, and I'm too ADHD, and like it's just going nowhere. He can't understand what I'm saying because I don't even know what I'm talking about right now. And he stops me in the middle of talking and he goes, "That's it right there. That is why you're different." And I'm just talking, so I'm like, why? What? And this guy mirrors back to me my ideal client profile, my dominant selling idea, what is my unique selling proposition, and just like as he was talking about Blushing Phoenix and how amazing this is, that I have created the space and why it's unique and who it's going to help, I felt the tears come to my eyes, because it was like one of those moments where you're like, you hear me? You hear what I'm saying right now? Through all that noise and all that clutter of what I just said out loud, and you hear me? Not only did he hear me and repeat back to me what he heard me saying in very structured and organized ways, which is so much of what I need in my life, because my husband's that way also. Like, I can get just so jumbled and just spread thin and confused in my own inner workings, and my husband will just say like boom, 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 and it just anchors all of that noise into like 3 things that you need to do next. And it's just I just love that. I love that. But this was a new person who has only met me one other time, that heard me and saw me and honored my creative outlet and what my plans and ideas are for it. I don't know. Like, obviously I'm still getting kind of emotional about it because I haven't fully processed all of that. But I know it was just very meaningful. And the timing was perfect. And then later I had a conversation with someone that has known me for some years now, and just something just felt like amiss. Like, we were talking, and it's almost like this person is trying not to let you know them and trying to hide behind this energy of masking and being very stoic and elusive. And that's confusing to me, and it doesn't feel safe. But it's coming from a place where like the character of the person has always been safe. And I'm just hitting this spot in my life where I'm like, this is not a me problem. And my husband was like, you just really, it's confirming for you that you don't need to seek this person's approval. And I was like, that's the thing. I'm not seeking that person's approval. I actually was trying to get around them more so that my nervous system could know that it's in a safe environment. But my nervous system actually tells me you're not in a safe environment when you're with them. So anyway, I'm rambling, but I just have been kind of processing that because it's flipped me upside down a little bit today. I always want to grow, and I always want to expand in who I am and what I'm capable of. But I'm also not questioning myself and my intuition anymore. That has set me back a lot of years in progress that I could have been making forward movement by just constantly questioning myself. So I'm sharing all of that, number one, because you're a safe space for me to talk. And I know that somebody will watch this and be like, yes, I feel this so deeply. And also as a reminder that sometimes I don't get on here and talk because I'm like, my mind is all jumbled and I don't really know what I want to say to you. I don't have like my 5 tips or tricks or the layout or the format of what the algorithm would like. I just was reminded yesterday by talking to essentially a stranger that knows that nothing about me or my background could hear me and could validate what he heard me saying. And it touched me so deeply because I think we all just want to know that we're seen and that we matter and that we just have a safe space to land sometimes. But yeah, I just wanted to share that here. I feel like this is the appropriate place to talk through some of these things. And I think too, because the reason why I changed the channel name back to Blushing Phoenix is because of the contrast between the blushing and the phoenix. And that truly is my life. I have confidence and like healthy pride in a lot of things that I do. But I also have moments where I'm sitting here in a parking lot and I feel deeply moved, but also kind of grieving in a sense, and not grieving, a little sad, a little disappointed, and not knowing if like it's something I need to do something about, or is it just something I sit with for a little while? You don't have to fix everything. You're not a problem to solve. You don't have to have a solution for every negative feeling. That's just part of the human experience, which is what the blushing phoenix is. It's us just living our lives. And it's hit me that it's not really about becoming the best version of yourself or me becoming the best version of myself. I know what habits and things that I do that make me feel really great, but I also know, like, obviously if I get up early and I work out and I eat good and I'm social and I'm getting sunshine and movement and all this stuff, I'm going to feel great. That's going to make me feel like the best version of myself. But I also know there's days where you're trying to survive that day and you're like, I'm eating the extra cake, or screw my calories today. There's a time and place for those things. And I think sometimes we're given this idea that if we do those things, then we're not the best version of ourselves. And I beg to differ. And I beg to maybe put a new idea out there for you and for me. What if we're already the best version of ourselves? And it's just the choices that we make that either get us to a goal because we're trying to accomplish a goal and we know the consistent decisions we have to make in order to hit that goal. And that's the sacrifice we have to make if we really want that goal. Or there's seasons where you're not doing and you are eating the extra pieces of cake and you are sitting around watching TV more. I was telling a friend earlier today that I realized that in the past, my hyper, what's it called? The hyper, I can't think of the word, but like where you're so active and you're trying to accomplish something and you're like just constantly going. You can't sit down and just chill because you feel like you need to be accomplishing something. And for me, I realized that was a trauma response because I felt like I was running out of time because I felt like I need to be something and be doing something in order to justify my existence on this earth. That is bullshit. That's bullshit. It is your birthright to be here. It's your birthright to have your existence be why you're here. That's it. And if we accomplish something, great. But what about the conversations you've had with strangers? What about the person that met me and I don't even know them, and I know that he saw me and heard me, and I'm talking about him right now on a video that has me stirring so deeply because something's going to shift in my life because of that conversation. Something's going to shift in my mindset and in my nervous system because I felt seen and heard, and I felt like I was in a very safe environment with a stranger, as opposed to later that day when I was in an environment with someone who's supposed to be trustworthy and safe, but my nervous system is sending off alarms that they're not. And it doesn't mean that person's ever going to do anything negative to me, but something in me sees something in them. And it's like, abort the ship, abandon this, get away from this. And that just blows my mind because perhaps we can be in conversations with strangers and wreck their lives in the best way because we were there, because we saw them, because we did something nice, because we smiled for them. But somehow, some way in this world, that doesn't feel like enough. Like we have to do something bigger and greater and better and more extreme to justify our existence and being here. So anyway, that's been a part of my unraveling this year in turning 40 and knowing that a lot of things were going to change. And I wouldn't quite know what those things were until I showed up in old environments with new eyes and a new way and a new nervous system. I just feel like almost like I'm watching life from the distance. I mean, I feel present in my body, but there's moments where I see things happening in the world around me and relationships that there's things happening for like each group of people or a person, and I'm just watching it like, whoa, this person's getting their heart's desire and it's triggering all this other stuff. This person is striving for this, and this, and it's triggering the same things that's happening with the person that's getting all the success right now. And then another person took a whole different shift in their creative outlet and their path and is pursuing that path. And then I have this one friend who is just so simple and kind of quiet and has come back home to herself. And that resonates so deeply with me. It resonates so deeply with me to just be. And I feel like the buzzwords now are like, this is our becoming. Oh, this is our becoming, or the messy middle. And it's like, I don't think it's the messy middle or the becoming. I think it's just us being humans, having this human experience here on this earth right here and now. I think it's Alan Watts that talks about that. Like that, the only reason to be alive is to be alive. Just to live it. It's something to that nature. That's the only purpose in life, is to live. And so whatever that means for you, I just wanted to share it to get it out of my head and out here into the world. And hopefully it resonates with somebody. And I just thank you for being here on this journey. What started with erythrophobia and has expanded into we are so much more than redness, because we are. And through all of my journey through Blushing Phoenix and coming right back to the name of Blushing Phoenix, it's just realizing that there are these things that interfere with our confidence to be our most alive versions of ourself. Not the best version, because I think the best version of me changes depending on the day. You know, they say like, oh, everybody's just doing their best, or they're doing their best. And we can easily argue that and go, well, their best is not good enough. They should do better than that. But if you are doing your best, and you know those seasons, like for me, seasons where I was literally surviving day by day, surviving, that was my best. In that mindset, in that moment, in that energy, in that frequency, in those surroundings, in that environment with those people, that was my best. So I think you're always the best version of you because you're you. And I believe that for myself. We're not problems to solve. We just got to go live. Just go live. Stop being hyper-focused and vigilant about who you are and how you're showing up and who it may offend and who's going to think it's cringy and who's going to stop talking to you. I know that's so much easier said than done. But for those of us who have experienced it, and you've experienced it too, you've had people that you've tried to hold on to still go their separate ways. And guess what? Life goes on. It works out. It all works out in the end. And what's meant for you will find its way to you. And what's supposed to come out of you is going to force its way out. You will not have to strive and force this thing to become a thing. It will find you. You're not late. You're not out of time. And I see you and I hear you. Okay, goodbye.